You
I
deserve
suck.
what?
I deserve all the hate. The reason we're starting this late is because of me.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's always
Ellen.
because of you.
Whoa, always is crazy.
Every time we're waiting on you. Am I wrong?
Okay, so the one not okay, last one you got me, but the one before that, were we literally not sitting there because Lonnie didn't do things that you wanted him to do? We
You
started
still
arguing
joined
about
that
your
one
nails.
late.
I
You
was no,
still
I was on time. I was on time. I was on time. This is
name
nasty
one
work.
thing that you have been on time for in your life.
Well, let me stop being dumb. I was gonna say something real dumb, but I was on time to practice. I had to. I had to stay. I asked if I could leave early. They said no. We need all coaches on deck. That's why I had to stay.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fine to be late. You just gotta be a little bit more communicative in terms of a give yourself some breathing room in terms of your time frames. That'll help you out.
I did. I let her know because this was all sprung up on me. That's why I let her know in the morning. The minute I woke up, I sent her a message.
Okay. When is so you had practice today?
Yeah, it's like makeup conditioning for because the kids need 10 hours of like practice and like conditioning with the helmet and pads on before they can like start hitting. So today were the makeup days, and today was
What
my
do
day.
you coach?
Football.
Football, yeah. When did it start?
Leave the kids out of this. Keep that. Just give that stick face to me. They're 10 to 12. Well, technically, we can have some 13-year-olds depending on when they're born, but it's mainly 10 to 12-year-olds.
No, like what time did the practice start?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. And when does it usually end?
It's supposed to be 12, but we had one of the head honchos there today, so they went a little longer. Plus, we had to clean up, and then also the time for me to get here from where I was at.
Okay, so after like imagine the head honcho is not there. Usually, when you get back from a practice like that, after cleanup and everything.
Probably about 12:15.
Okay, so it went over like 2 hours. You two
Mm-hmm.
extra hours.
You got to do it because it's like it's the NFL standard. Like that's the
Hmm.
standard that the NFL says for all the Pee Wee teams. So we have to do it that way.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I mean, sprung
I'm
up
not
on.
getting I'm not getting sued or fined because we didn't do it right. I had to sign a whole thing with the NFL to say that I'm an NFL certified youth coach.
Fair play. All right, sounds good.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I haven't even eaten today. But how you doing, Taylor?
Uh, tired. I was at an amusement park all day yesterday.
An amusement park?
Yeah. Our friend, her birthday was like 2 weeks ago, and we were supposed to go 2 weeks ago, but it was storming all day.
Hmm.
So instead, we went yesterday.
When's
So
the last time you've been
I
to an amusement park, Riddell? But sorry, after finish your story, then Riddell after. Sorry.
Oh no, but I meant to like grab all the stories because like I had them listed in my head, but I hadn't grabbed them yet. So I got some really great stories for you two today.
Hmm. But I don't know. A couple years. It's been a long time since I've been to amusement park.
There's one 45 minutes from my house. Magic Mountain. It's a Six Flags one. I don't think I've been there since I left high school. Yeah.
I love
That's
amusement
the one
parks.
where the yeah, that's the one. uh, No, let me think about this before I say this because I think it had a big scandal too, like the theme park day. But let me think about this before I put this on wax. I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble.
Okay. Well, today we have Random and Radell from Black Sensei Society. Radell wanted to come on and say his piece and, get his little redemption from Random's attack last time.
I don't even
So
remember what I said. I don't even remember what I said. What
he
did I
came
say?
after his dating game.
You
Yeah,
not you not a dater though, Riddell. You're not.
it was something about like you're talking about picking up a girl, and then you were like, I'm gonna go to Lonnie, and then you're just like, you think I'm gonna go to Radell? Please, something like that. Like that's what it. That's from my memory. So it's either picking up girls, is what it sounds like. That's picking up girls is the conversation.
Okay, Radell, if there's a power ranking, where do you believe you stand in that power ranking amongst the six of us?
I don't know. I don't know y'all game, but I know for a fact what I could do, and trust me, don't doubt me. So just because I don't talk about it, I wouldn't assume what I can do.
So what? So what? Like you're number one?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna just
You
say
better
this.
than J Rob? Radell?
I'm,
Nah,
gonna say,
say
I'm not. I'm not gonna speak on other people's game. All I will say, is that I am making a concerted effort not to be a hoe. So, I'm confident if I want to, I can get some. So I'm not never really stressed about that. But I have to tone myself down. So
So you're saying that your whole phase is always on the horizon. You just choose not to. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it's not good. I don't want a kid. So
You
I
can be
calm
a
You
down.
have
hoe
a
and
whole
be
phase
and
without
yeah,
having a kid.
No,
yeah.
there's always no. Let's not be ignorant. There's always a possibility of a kid popping up
I'm
if
not.
things happen. So
I'm not saying
Sounds
that
like you
it's
just
not.
prepare
I'm
yourself,
just.
protect yourself. What are we talking about?
oh, I do. I have plenty, but even those are not foolproof. They're not 100%. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know, but like, so that never mind. Never mind. Basically, you're just seeing like whatever minuscule percentage the dangerous part is, you're saying it's not worth it at all.
It's not. I don't want a
Even
kid.
even if you could verify on her end that she's well protected too.
Yeah,
She
but
got
I
her
don't.
thing going, you got your thing going. We just gonna unite and form this tremendous partnership.
Yeah, but I also like after learning more about what like birth control does to the body and stuff. I don't even want her to do stuff like that. Like I'm taking concerted effort knowing that my protection is not 100% and knowing that the stuff they have to take for the most part is not good for their bodies. So I'm just going to take myself out the equation. It's not worth it.
Birth control is trash. I say as I'm on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
so
You
I
think they'd
don't.
figure that out? You think they'd figure that out so that it doesn't
Oh,
have
they'd
the
figure it out
yeah.
if men needed birth control. If birth control is for men instead of women, it would be figured out.
well they're working on birth control for men. But
You
even
think
if
they'd have that figured out? I think I'd have no problem with taking the
it will affect your body regardless cuz that's what you're doing is you're affecting your body,
I don't think I'd
your
have a problem
reproductive
with that.
system.
Women been doing that for decades. I'll do it. What the fuck not?
I won't. I want to have kids. So
Oh, that's where we differ. I don't want kids. Y'all got
well,
me. I
that is
appreciate
definitely a difference right there. That's 100% a
it.
difference.
Eventually.
Yeah,
Eventually.
y'all got me. I really appreciate you guys making sure that my quota was also filled.
Mm, okay.
Him and y'all and Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers, I know when all the chips are on the table, Philip Rivers got me at all costs.
I mean, that's your legacy right there. Your children.
No, we're fine. I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
You don't care
I'm
about
fine
your
with my
legacy.
legacy not being known.
I don't want my legacy to be my kids. I want my legacy to be me. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. I have this first story is off of r/. Am I overreacting? The title is My Roommate Ate My Beans, so I went to his Boulder Gate 3 game and threw every item of his inventory down a cliff and saved over all of his prior saves.
Yo, do you know how long that takes?
I'm wondering what act the roommate was in, because if they're in like act 3, that's like hours, like 50 plus hours.
That's rude as fuck. For some beans, I'll get you a new can of beans. Like, what
That's
the?
mad petty. I'm not gonna lie.
He must. This must happen all the time, Radell. For you to take that step, this motherfucker just don't care about your food. He just be eating it.
I mean, maybe he really loves beans. If the only thing I would be pissed at is like if I told my roommate we can share everything, but if I have sweets, then don't touch it. So if my roommate ever went like in the fridge and just ate all my sweets and just kept on doing it, okay, I might do the same thing. I'll be honest. I
That's
might be
so
that
much
petty.
time. I just delete his saves. Like that's so much time to throw every item. You gotta sit at the top of a cliff and just throw every item off the cliff.
That
I,
anger retained itself.
I
I don't
respect the
do
pettiness, but that's hours of your life you're never gonna get back.
it.
Okay, so the story is I, 25 male, like to order fancy beans and grains from places called Rancho Gordo, and they're called heirloom beans. Unlike most beans, they are not in a can. They are air dry beans that are meant to soak and cook properly, making very good protein filled foods. Now, these beans are a little on the pricey side, and the bags they come in are not large. On 3 times in this year, I have caught my roommate, 25 male, cooking incorrectly my beans. He thinks that dried food should be a shared resource. What? He never buys beans or any other kind of good dry food, never mind the expensive kind. I told him to stop eating my beans. This week, I was looking forward to making a veggie chili with some of the good beans. I got home, went to see that the bag was empty, like 2 or 3 beans in there. I became enraged. My roommate is obsessed with video game Baldur's Gate 3. I've seen him play it all the time. So when he was out, I went into his game. You have 4 characters in your party basically. So I went to this place, there is a cliff, and I dropped all of their gear and then picked it up and threw it down the cliff. This took me a long time, like hours. And then I went back to his camp, changed the party with other members, and I went back to the cliff and did the same thing. And I did it until every single member of his party was naked and weaponless. And then I saved the game and I deleted all prior autosaves. So the only save file on there was where the gear was thrown down a cliff. When my roommate came home, he was livid. He actually did a big no, like in the movies. He knew it was me and accused me of making him waste 100 hours of his life on nothing. And then he would have to start the game over again. I said, well, I hear it's a good game. I'm sure you'll have fun. And he was like, why did you do this to me? I said, maybe this time, when you rebuild your inventory, you'll find some beans of your own. He was shocked, silent, and he couldn't believe I'd ruined his entire month just because he wanted to share my beans. Share. He said what I did was beyond petty and not a proportional response, and said that he will never forgive me. It is awkward living here. I have to admit it now. Some of my friends who play Baldur's Gate 3 have said I did overreact and sabotage his entire game, saying a run of the game can take over 130 hours. But he was the one who ate my beans. I am conflicted though. Maybe I did overreact.
After hearing the story, from my perspective, it's hard for me to resonate with the person because I would never let it get that far. I make it pretty clear the first time, don't do this, right? Um, so that's what I'll say first. And then the next thing I'll say is that yes, the beans are important to him because he kind of elicited everything that he does for him. But I would say you overreacted. I would say you didn't need to go that far. But the other dude was being nasty, kept on eating his beans, even though he kept on saying stop doing that. But if he didn't make it very clear, stop doing it because he did say he was cooking it incorrectly. I don't know. Their relationship is kind of weird to me from what it sounds like. I think
I'm
he
gonna,
overreacted though.
this person, OP, clearly did not grow up with siblings. They were clearly an only child because you learn really quickly if you have something that you want food wise not to be touched, you store it in your room. Like I grew up with an older brother, and that man, if I had any sort of leftovers, if I had anything, you could put your name on it. It didn't matter. He was eating it. So like either this is your first time living with someone or like you're not used to like you didn't grow up with like a sibling or something because unfortunately people don't see your stuff in a community space as just your stuff. They see it as the community stuff. You're
I
muted,
mean,
sir.
he's spending a pretty grip on getting some like special beans, right? So I definitely understand the frustration. My thing is like you way overreacted. You said like you called it. They're probably in Act
Hours.
3. Hours doing this repetitive thing of throwing something off a
How
cliff.
many characters are there in Baldur's Gate 3?
And the way it sounded, he said hours. You probably got all the characters now. Like you spent, let's just say conservatively, you spent 4 hours doing this. 4 hours. Why didn't you just ask for him to pay you back for the beans?
Or have a conversation with the person. What it sounds like to me is he's one of those type of individuals to say like one thing about it, but never really address the issue until everything kind of boils up, and then you react in a very nasty manner. Which, I mean, that doesn't really solve anything. So, I'm low key gonna blame him. I don't think he made a strong enough point to say stop messing with my beans. I think he said stop doing it like once, but obviously the other guy didn't take him seriously. So
What
There's
if he just
you
deleted
could
his saves? What if he just deleted his saves?
that could have honestly been a lot less time consuming. So you have up to a potential of 10 different companions that you can have at your camp.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can only have 3 attached to you at a time. And you can hold, like Karlak, for instance, can hold like the most amount because of her build,
Mm-hmm.
because she's a barbarian. So, like, that's like an entire day's worth of like going in and individually doing this, like one by one by one.
yeah, he overreacted.
It would have just been the message. If you just deleted the games, it would have been better than it's just how petty it is. That's the problem. And like that's like realistically, what did you get from that? Because if I'm the guy who did that too, every time you get those beans, I'm eating them now. Every time.
Oh yeah.
If I'm be petty, I'm gonna eat your beans every single time.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Also, I guess it's cool he can just kind of go onto his Xbox or his PC and just
Yeah,
start deleting stuff.
where is this? Like, if his PC or Xbox is in his room, that means that you went into his space to do
Mhm.
this. That's
It could be in the living room too.
If it's in
Um,
the living room, yeah, but I don't know. Most people that I see, because like the living room is considered like common space, will have it in their room.
oh yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
common, but
I've
it depends
never
on the relationship, I guess. Maybe they share an Xbox or whatever.
shared in all the roommates I've had. I've never shared an Xbox with anybody. All my
Yeah, I
stuff
was
has
gonna
been in my
say
room.
all of my stuff has always been, the only time that my Xbox was in like the common area was when I was living in a dorm and there was no separation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I propose that is because based off like the circumstantial information, the only time a person will go out of their way to kind of just take your things is if you have a close enough relationship. Because like me and my roommate, we're cool, but it would blow my mind if you just came and take stuff that I said not to take. Only time you see that is siblings, like you said, or like a girlfriend, or a really, really, really close friends where you just take each other's stuff. Um, so they must have a really close relationship, and that would make sense why the other guy was doing it, even though he was saying no, and how he was able to access his Xbox too because of how close they were.
Yeah.
So that would make sense to me.
So top comment on this was, "This is so unhinged, it made me cackle." And we have no comments from OP at all. The general consensus is that basically they use like, you're kind of like overreacting, but this is hilarious.
Like, if
So
I'm being honest, everybody sucks in this story. Everybody does. But like you're the king asshole right now. You're the king.
you took it like 3 steps further than what it needed to be.
Yeah, you could just eat his food. I think that would be good enough. Eat his food.
Eat his favorite food.
Yeah,
Boom. There you go. Everything's
Like, he
goofy.
goes to his favorite restaurant and he brought home leftovers. Eat that shit in front of him.
yeah. That's equal revenge right there.
So this next story is off of r/true off of my chest. The title is, "I just saw my little brother in a porno."
Bruh.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I couldn't imagine.
So the story goes, no, this isn't a troll pose. I'm the big sister of my little brother. I'm 28. He's 19 in college. I've moved out of my parents' house a while ago, but I do see him. He seems to be doing well. He's really active and he has a really healthy and happy relationship from what I've seen from his girlfriend. Back home, I'm married to my wife. We don't have any kids, but we have 2 dogs we kill for. And we both watch porn together, as weird as some people may find it. It helps us have a more intimate time with each other in bed. What my partner likes is mostly gay porn. If straight men find lesbian porn something that turns them on, then we can do the opposite for sex. Then when we both have time, something the two of us will do is search up porn beforehand. That way, when the time comes, we don't have to look for something that turns us both on. And recently, my partner showed me a video she was interested in. When I saw it, I wanted to fucking vomit because it was my brother. It was him naked, blindfolded, masturbating, and being slapped by another man. It was so disgusting to see that when I told my wife, she felt the same. I don't even really know what to do from here. On one hand, he's my little brother, and for my whole life, he's been a little kid. On the other, he has his own life and he is an adult now. For now, I'm keeping this to myself. I don't want to shame my brother for this. I especially don't want to tell my extremely traditional Chinese parents in fear of what they'd say to him.
Oh, they're Chinese too.
Mm?
Oh, this story was interesting. Mm.
I was intrigued. Now you have my attention. Chinese family? This can never come out. This can never come out. Never in his life. You go to the grave with this. You have a conversation with your brother and say, look, we can never talk about this again.
I have concerns as to how come OP's wife didn't recognize that that was his little brother.
I didn't even think about that.
Probably wasn't thinking. You know, they're just looking for porn. I'm not thinking about, do I recognize this person? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's weird for sure. It sounds like obviously a very strict family repressed them, and now we see how the daughter became. She only can get off by watching porn, and the son is in a porno. So, you know, L family. And the second thing I'll say is that you got to talk to him. You got to talk to him.
You gotta have
you
a
saw it.
conversation.
You gotta say something.
Like,
gotta
yo,
say
bro, what's happening? What's happening?
Cause like you're gonna, the next time you're gonna see him in public, that's immediately what's gonna come to both you and your wife's minds immediately.
By the way, he's the sub in that situation. He's
Mhm.
what? Oh,
Uh-huh.
like, bro, what's going on, man? What's going
Yeah,
on?
and does his
Listen.
girlfriend know?
Probably. I mean, listen, a lot of your favorite, like people's favorite, like gay porn stars are straight men. Fun facts.
Interesting facts. Okay.
Look, I ain't hating on their profession. I ain't hating on their profession. If that's how you make money, that's how you make money. Not even on my worst day.
So we have a few comments from OP. One, so the top comment is, don't tell your parents, but you may want to have an open and honest conversation with your brother and check in on him. OP responded and said, I don't even want to bring this up to him for a few years, to be honest. I'll check up on him. I do that pretty often, but I was in college too, and it's just thought of one of my family members, especially our older sibling, seeing you in a porno, I'd have no motivation. Somebody goes and says, you can try saying something along the lines of, someone we know told me he saw you in a certain video. I don't want to say any details, but they were worried about you, and so am I. Are you okay? Is there anything you want to talk about? Opie responded, in my opinion, I feel an icebreaker is just not needed if we talk about this. There's not really any way to hint at me knowing about what he did without it being super obvious. I'd much rather just have both of us go straight into the conversation.
I agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
This is not a, well, here's insert metaphor here before we start. Nah, just rip
I
the
want to
Band-Aid
see
off.
if there's an...
Yeah.
So no way of knowing if there's an update. OP's account has been deleted, unfortunately.
Bro,
So we
we
don't.
need to know how this ends.
I
So we
mean,
haven't.
you can imagine, right? I mean, if you're not close with your parents, then yeah, no need to tell them. Like, I definitely understand that. And it sounds like they're not. Neither of them are close with their parents. They're obviously been repressed for. You can tell based off their actions. So if that's the case, and you do have a good relationship with your brother, you should talk to him. I don't get the metaphor. Just say it how it is. Like, stop beating around the bush. Talk about it. And for me, I would say I don't know about this profession. I don't know if this is good for your future. That's just me. But if you're supportive, I guess, then at least make it known that this is what I saw. This is what's going
I
on.
mean,
And now I know.
honestly, the only time that this may potentially come up is like because you don't have to put it on your resume. So like the only time that like this may come up is if you're going for like a security clearance check and they have to run like their full extensive background check on you because you can't lie and be like, oh no, I never did porn if you're going in for a background check because it's a full extensive like deep dive into who you are as a person. So I think that that would probably be the only time that it would have to get brought up like professional wise, but like
The only other way it can get brought up is if people find the video and show a lot of people the video, which is also a possibility because people get scummy. We see people try to cancel people all the time, so that can definitely get brought up.
or like the girlfriend finds out, girlfriend didn't know, girlfriend then sends it to his. Ooh, that could
Oh,
be really
You need to
bad.
have a conversation with
and
your
then the
girl too.
parents will eventually find out.
You got to have a
Yeah.
conversation now. Now you got to have a conversation with your brother. You got to have a conversation with your girl, and hopefully that's as far as this thing spreads to.
I mean, listen,
Y'all might have to have a conversation with all three at the
you
same
did
time.
a public. Unfortunately, it's on the internet. It is there for the world to see.
That's
So
so crazy.
if you have any
That messed
enemies,
my week up.
Oh yeah.
That messed my
Any-
week up.
If you're an older individual and you understands pros and cons and consequences, you should always inform the younger person of the potential ramifications because 19-year-olds are stupid. So
I was a fucking
you
dumbass at
talk to
19.
that person, you're like, there's a chance our parents could find out if you keep doing it. Like you have the conversation with the person, make them
Mhm.
think about what they're doing.
Like if we found it, like our parents can find it, type of thing, or it can be shown to our parents, or like
Yeah. Like a 19-year-old, all they're thinking about is, oh yeah, this was fun, I guess. They're really not thinking about the consequences of what they're
or
doing.
even just quick money if he's also moved
True.
out. I
Mhm.
mean, unfortunately, the sex industry, you know, for a lot of young people seems like a really viable option because it's a lot of money fast.
True. Yeah. That's also an option. So yeah.
And for some, it works out perfectly fine and they end up loving it as a career. And for others, they're like, I had to do this to make money. Like, this is where I was at and I needed cash now. So, I mean, it depends on the whole situation. So I think honestly having a conversation to try to figure out like if he needs help in any way or if he's just like, no, I enjoy doing this. Like this is something fun for me. Which at that point, okay, that's his choice. He's a grown adult.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The transition out of that could be tough. I mean, we've seen some of the more notable ones have that tough transition. Who's the one who tried to be like a football person? What's her name? I can't
Football
remember.
person.
She tried to do like fantasy football with like Barstool. And she was like,
Oh.
no. I mean, she tried, but I mean that didn't work out for her. The transition is very hard out of that. So
Well, because there's a stigma around sex workers, which there really shouldn't be, but neither
Mhm.
here nor there.
I
But
agree. That's tough. That's such a tough situation, man.
yeah. So this next one is also off of my chest. My little brother, 3 male, is actually my fiance's 25 male kid.
Wait, read that title one more time.
My little brother, 3 male, is actually my fiance's 25 male's kid.
My little brother is my fiance's kid.
Yes.
What?
So your fiance fucked her mom.
Or it could be
No,
she.
that
No. Hold on. It could also be like he had a kid, and then they just kind of her parents are like, we'll raise the kid as our son.
What? One second. What? Yes. You? Yeah.
Random. Fuck you.
What did I do?
What do you? What did you do?
You know, because if he actually showed up at one like he was originally supposed to,
Yes.
we could have gone to the bike thing.
Yes.
Guess what David just did? He just got to host a bikini contest. Fuck you, Random.
All right, I deserve it. I deserve it.
You would have enjoyed it too.
I'm leaving that in.
shaking my head, Random.
I feel like shit.
I am actually kind of mad at you because that would have been perfect.
Man. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like he fucked her mom. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. So let's get into the story. My fiance, 25 male, and myself have been together since we were 17, 18 years old. Honestly, he was always kind, handsome, funny, and everyone used to say I was so lucky to have the whole package. I felt lucky too. He always treated me with love and respect, so this makes everything just so shocking for me. Sorry. I've always had a good relationship with my mom. It has always been her and I against the world. My dad died in an accident when I was little. We always joked we were the real life Rory and L'Oreal from Gilmore Girls. My mom dated guys on and off, and they were usually cool, but nothing really past the early stages. Around 4 years ago, my mom told me she was pregnant, which was a huge surprise. My mom was around 42 years old, and although she was sort of dating someone recently, I didn't meet the guy, but knew she went on dates. It was still a big shock. She never told me she could be pregnant. She never thought she could be pregnant at her age. She had me when she was super young, an oopsie, and I can tell she was stressed and worried. I decided to support her since she has always supported me and tried to reassure her. She then had my brother, who is now 3 years old, and I have a close relationship with my brother. I have helped taking care of him since he was born and just love the little guy. My fiance was also always helpful with my brother. He would take him out for ice cream, playground, pool time during the summer, etc., but nothing was weird. He was just then my boyfriend spending time with my brother and I. Now, here I found out my fiance and I lived together since we finished college. My fiance was not at home since he was hanging out with his friends, but I was home because I didn't feel like going out and wanted to chill on the sofa. At some point during binge watching the series on Netflix, my laptop died and I was too lazy to get my charger, so I looked on my fiance's iPad. I knew the password, but honestly never used it before. The iPad logged in and I got a bunch of messages pinging. I guess he hadn't used it in a while too. Anyways, this got my attention and I went to check it out, and of fucking course I found everything. My mom's number wasn't under her name, but I recognized the number and verified it with my phone. She was telling him she felt guilty and that I should know. He said he also felt guilty but couldn't lose me, and they fucked it up. She said that it was unfair for my brother to never know his dad, and that if he could live hanging around his son and not behaving like a dad but a brother-in-law. I broke down. What the actual F? There were a lot of older messages, just some photos shared of my brother as a newborn, my mom pregnant, more photos of my brother growing up in an album. I couldn't anymore. I cried for what seemed like ages as I waited for my boyfriend to come back home. I wish I was one of those women that can pretend to get all the things together before confronting the cheater, but I can't. He came back later that night around 11:30, and I just gave him the iPad with the conversation open and saw his face completely go pale. I asked for an explanation: when, how, why, and why didn't he want to at first, but he knew he had to. Apparently, a few years back, while I was traveling with some friends for a girls' trip, my fiance and my mom had dinner together. This isn't strange since he has been a part of the family for so long. Sometimes my mom and fiance would go out to eat at our place, even if I was busy with sports or out. I did the same with his parents. Somehow, Unclear how, since he couldn't explain it well. One thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. They felt guilty, but apparently not guilty enough because they slept together 2 to 3 more times, using the excuse of meeting up to discuss how to tell me. Apparently, when my mom got pregnant, they stopped sleeping together and decided not to tell me since my fiance loved me but couldn't lose me, and my mom didn't want to lose her daughter. So here we are now with 2 of the most disgusting humans. I obviously broke the engagement and told my mom to never talk to me again and moved in with a friend. I feel bad for my brother since I really love him, but I can't be around him right now. I just can't. I feel like it would remind me of all those times we talked about having kids. I would be his baby mama, only baby mama. We talked about this future since we were 17 years old. So I want to puke every time. Now I think it was actually taking care of his child with someone else while still having those dreams. I want to puke.
Holy
So,
shit. That was right from Jump Street.
yeah. Hey,
That was the hoe.
Bar for bar.
that's tough. I don't know why people always put themselves in these wild situations. It's crazy, to be honest.
I mean, she didn't put herself in shit.
No, she obviously she's fine, but
No, so this seems to be like a like little bit of like a theme on Reddit of like parents sleeping with their child's significant other. And I just want to know what goes through your mind as a parent, because first of all, you're sleeping with somebody who is the same age as your child that you raised from birth. What in your head like thinks to like sexualize somebody that age? Like,
I
how do you
mean,
get to that point?
well, a lot of people don't have self control, which is not an excuse, but for some reason, people can't control themselves. And you would hope people are able to only really relate to or attract themselves to people around their age, but that's just not realistic. I mean, we see 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds go all the time, blushing over some young actor or whatever. So, I mean, that's just normal to an extent, as long as you're like of age, like at least 21, but the bare minimum 18. Especially a single mother there's no husband around and she's dating all the time. For someone who has a mother who's dating all the time, they don't act like they're 40. So that's just common, for unfortunately. You just gotta, I don't know, you don't put yourself in a situation where you're having like single dinners with a single woman. I don't just because she's family, nah, you can't. Don't put yourself in those situations.
So we have a few comments from OP. One is, it's weird to come to terms with the mom I knew. She was always loving and supportive and just a great mom. And now this person who is just a disgusting human, I don't know. My thoughts are just everywhere. OP also does mention that they want to go to therapy to help with this because they just can't deal with it alone. So kudos to OP, because a lot of people on Reddit do not want to go to therapy for whatever reason. Somebody basically asked, like, have they both reached out to you? Are they reacting? I am assuming like a barrage of apologies and everything. OP goes, my mom texted me a few times and called me when she saw my text saying that I know. I didn't see her messages and I have no idea what they said. Fiance was destroyed by losing me supposedly and said nothing has changed and that we can cut contact with my mom and he won't see her again. I said absolutely no, and that I needed to go, packed a bag and then left. They haven't tried to see me in person yet. Part of me wishes they would fight harder to keep me in their lives, but part of me can't handle seeing them in person.
It's just she's literally been betrayed by the two people she cares about the most in one of the worst ways.
Well,
Sure,
and I mean, think about it. Growing up, like the one person, like the people that you trust the most, like growing up from the jump, are your parents. Like you have to trust them. Like there's no like question about that. Like you trust them from a child all the way up, and even if like you have a really messed up childhood and everything, it's still really hard to come to terms with the person who gave birth to you doing things to actively harm you. And poor OP was harmed in the worst way possible, of like her little brother is her fiance's son. Like that's just
Yeah. It may be hard to hear, which, like I said, most people won't be able to forgive, but I would recommend that eventually you forgive your mother and eventually you be okay with seeing your brother because he is your brother at the end of the day. So
The-
having a relationship with your brother will be important as he grows up, and then forgive your mother. You don't have to like accept your mother. You don't have to go like you're my mom. You can call her by your first name, but those are just things that people will be better off moving forward in the future as they grow up, other than just cutting ties with that family forever for the rest of your life.
Oh, I'm full support of cutting parents off, cutting family members off, because some people just don't deserve to be in your life, and it doesn't matter who they are. I'm pro cutting siblings off, like whatever, because some parents are absolute pieces of shit. This mom, I mean, the only reason why I would say I do agree with you with the little brother part. Like her little brother is 3. He doesn't understand everything that's going on. And all he's going to know is that, like, my sister abandoned me, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that he's going to have. So I think working through therapy of like creating these boundaries with your mother so that you can see your brother are important. But I don't think that she has to forgive her. This is something that I don't think I would ever forgive personally.
All right, but if you put things in the context, I agree that if since someone's despicable enough, then forgiveness is beyond. Um, you know, some people obviously more religious don't believe that, but for the average person, if it's bad enough, never forgive. Well, I mean, we don't know this woman, especially since she said her husband died, and if she took care of her entire life, she grew up in a very good place, then this mistake, is it worth enough for you to never forgive her until she dies? Hard to
I
say.
mean, I
I would
could
say
I
no.
could never trust her around anybody that I date ever again. Like
I agree to that. Yeah.
that's just I
The
mean,
foundation of their relationship has completely changed.
Agree
yeah.
to that as well.
So
But the sanctity of the relationship is not only going to be good for them between each other, but it's always going to be good for you because holding this like animosity, hatred in your heart for your entire life is just not good for your health. So that's just
So
I don't know how I
we
could forgive. She literally betrayed me in the worst way.
so we do have an update.
fair.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, let's go.
Okay.
I'm locked in.
So, first, I want to thank everyone for all the nice messages and comments. I was not expecting so much support. I'm a mess, but not going to lie. But after reading all of the comments, I feel a lot better, like a therapy mini session. So, thank you all. To the update. As I said, I was afraid I needed to confront near my office last as I was afraid I was indeed confronted near my office this week. I knew this was coming but thought maybe I had more time. My ex was the person to come and find me yesterday after finishing work and walking to where my car was parked. My ex was short of lingering, waiting around. I thought about running, not gonna lie, but I guess in the moment I felt strong enough to get it over with. Instead of having that hand hanging above my head and waiting to be approached again. He asked if we could talk, and I said yes, but I didn't feel like having a conversation over coffee like we were old friends. It felt ridiculous, so I told him just to talk right there. We were in the streets, but somehow it wasn't crowded. But I also was not completely lonely. Lonely felt right. He basically said sorry 100 times and that I deserved better. Agreed. He said he did love me and that he still does, but he would understand why I wouldn't want anything to do with him. He said that if I did in fact consider forgiving him a chance, that he would go to therapy alone or together or both, and he could work hard to win my trust back. I told him it wasn't possible. There was too much damage. This sounds calm, but when I type it, but in the moment things came out of more louder in a more louder tone and harsher words. Anyways, he did say that he was in the or will be in the process of getting custody of my brother from my mother, and that he in fact does want to be a dad to him. He said he does not want to be together with my mom, that was just a stupid mistake. Sure, because 4 to 5 times it was a mistake and just a random thing. He couldn't explain why he did it in the first place. I don't even think he knows himself. I asked if he cheated with someone else before, and he said no. Not sure if I believe it, but he sounded honest. I asked why he didn't come clean, and he said after he did the deed, he always felt panicked and it hits him that he could lose me and just didn't want to. I told him it was meant to be found out, then what was his plan? To have my brother around and ignore their relationship forever? And he said he didn't think that far enough and that he was basically going with the idea one day at a time type of survival. I asked him if he ever felt that my mom seduced him. He said it was mutual, which made me want to puke again. I asked if he had any contact with my mom since I found out. He said yes, but mostly about my brother. Didn't elaborate more, and I didn't press for more information on that. He said he told his parents the day before or the day of, not sure, about everything. The parents were not happy, but they were glad to start building a new relationship with my brother, their grandkid. Honestly, all of this felt like such a punch to the stomach. I don't know why. The parents wanted to contact me, but he told them to wait until he approached me first, hence why he was there. I said if he started or thought about custody before I found out, and he said no. But when I found out, it was like the punch he needed. Great seems I helped get his shit together. And this past week, he was arranging all of that mess. That's why he hasn't tried to see me before. He sounded and looked defeated, but the whole thing just made me, besides myself, sad and angry. I was mainly depressed before, but now I'm furious. I feel like he's in an okay place and he isn't paying for his actions beyond me leaving him. He will have my brother, his parents, and others to move on with his life, while I literally lost everything. I hate him. We parted ways, not on a happy note, and told him to never get near me again. I was done. He asked me to see my brother still, and that I was important to him, and tried to guilt trip me, and it worked, but I still can't. I don't know how much my mom really hopes she doesn't come find me anytime soon. I'm fuming right now and won't be able to handle it. I will be contacting my family and friends and finally getting this blasted today. I think it's time after my talk with him. I got the extra push that I needed.
I mean, look, conversations need to be had. I mean, I feel so bad for the kid. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, I agree. The kid definitely gonna grow up in a broken home, which is unfortunate. And she needs time. And I think going away from the brother, away from her, away from him, even for a couple years, I think that would be healthy. And then eventually I would consider getting back in your brother's life and considering forgiving her mother, but depending on their relationship.
So there's 2 more updates. I'm just skimming through them real quick because they are long ones. Basically, she blasts them. Her ex's parents reach out, basically saying that she shouldn't have done that and airing out their dirty laundry and everything. And that she didn't. Something that confused me. She said in her long text that the reason she slept with this is her mom. She said that she was being cruel, and she thought that we had a better relationship rather than just her blasting out their dirty laundry. She said that in her long text that the reason she slept with my ex is because he reminded her of her death, that it was grief, and that she didn't mean to use him to heal her pain. So that just upset OP even more. And then the last update, basically she moved in with a cousin. Still unclear. Asked her why she slept. Kept my brother in the whole situation so bad. She said she never thought she could have another baby till late in life. She found out she was pregnant. She felt it was a blessing, and I was so nice about it. He decided to ambush me again on my way back from work. Feels vulnerable. People can't just treat me that way. Blah, blah, blah. Finally got more.
Well, it sounds like the guy, he's not respecting any boundaries at all. He's trying to force the reconciliation. He's trying to force a solution when she can't even get to the part where she can even think about anything else because she doesn't have time to think. He's just always just kind of pulling up and trying to force things to go his way.
So he admitted, so finally got more info of why he slept with her. And what I understood was I'm the love of his life, but he needed to take my mom off of his system and have closure on that teenager crush so he and I could continue our happy life without regrets. And she did see her little brother. It was his birthday last weekend. Although I didn't go to the party, my cousin helped me set up a short meeting. It was bittersweet. He told me he missed me, and I do too. He told me he was happy that Max is his daddy because he was so much fun and they're spending a lot of time together. My mom seems happy. Not gonna lie, it hurt a lot. I tried to put on a brave face, but it was hard. It was very short, and I told him I would be traveling for a long time, that I will try to send him cards in the future through my cousin. He was confused but accepted it. I'm not sure how much he understands from everything. So it looks like at least she's still trying to have this relationship with her brother, but she does need to heal some first.
So he just wanted to fuck. That's all this
Yeah.
boiled down to. He just wanted to fuck.
Yeah,
Man,
that's all this boiled down to.
man,
I mean,
sometimes-
that plays into the same type of logic behind people who say that they want what are they called? I think there's a terminology. It's like a freebie of like a hall pass. That's the terminology.
Yeah.
It's the same logic as like a hall pass because he fantasized about her mother since he was young. It's the same as like fantasizing about Scarlett Johansson, and someone go like, "Oh, if you had the chance to sleep with Scarlett Johansson, I'll give you the hall pass." That's the same kind of logic and the way he framed it. Obviously, it's her mother, which is even worse. But
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think hall passes are slightly different because like you make a hall pass list, but like in all reality, like the average person is never actually going to be able to meet Scarlett Johansson, so you don't actually have to worry about like that happening. So
but
it's
what
like
if it does? Like, what if they do meet Scarlett Johansson? That's at that point. I'm curious for those people who like hall passes. Would you be okay with them doing it?
I mean, me and Lonnie joke all the time about like hall passes with like different celebrities, but like if it ever actually came down to it and we actually got the option, no, I wouldn't be okay with it.
It's such a Radell. Think about everything that has to happen for you and Scarlett Johansson to be in the same place, and you both want to, and you're both down to fuck. Think about everything that's for that just to happen.
But it shouldn't matter. But the person shouldn't matter because that's exactly what happened with her and her mother. They were in the same place. They both wanted to fuck. He's always wanted to fuck her, and then he got.
But that's different. If he actually, like for instance, if the dude actually did end up, he's like, look, Scarlett Johansson said she was down. I had to do it. That hits different than it does with his mom.
I don't think it. Don't. I think it's more personal. But I think it's still
just because
bad.
it's more personal,
like they're both,
it hits different. That's why I'm
not
saying.
Really. They're both still terrible. You still cheated.
Yeah, they're both terrible, but
so it is more personal with the mother, but like here's my other thing. Like
I'm not. By the way, I'm not condoning that. I'm not condoning that. I want to put that out right now.
Like
just because you had a chance, you still cheated, bro. Like it don't matter if it's Scarlett or not. I just think there's levels to it.
But I also think OP had no idea that he had this childhood crush on her mom because I personally think that their relationship would not have gone as far.
I agree.
If you had a crush on, let's
say when they're 19, he's like, look, man, I've always had a, and you guys are just having one of those dumb moments. You're sitting on the couch, like, he's like, I used to have a crush on this guy, and then he comes, I was like, I've always had a crush on your mom. You're like, what?
But in y'all's sense, it would be her having a crush on your dad.
Also wild, very wild. It doesn't help, especially if you know he has a crush and he sees her all the time. You also wouldn't allow your boyfriend to go to a dinner with your mother solo dolo.
Absolutely. Exactly. If I knew that my boyfriend had a crush on my mom, I'd be like, no, that's it. Like that's it. The relationship is done and you're not going anywhere alone with her. Not because I don't trust my mom, because my mom is happily married, but like, I don't trust you to not make some weird like play on my mother.
Yeah, that would be kind of wild. And the reason why I presented the hall pass situation is I'm curious for people who have hall passes in their relationship, like real hall passes. And I'm curious if a similar situation like the story happened and they did it to their hall pass, how would you feel? Would you be okay with it in reality? That's the only reason why I brought up the question.
I think that's why most people give hall pass, because they're like the person that they pick is so unrealistic that you never have to worry about it. Like if you did do a hall pass, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, the girl at Starbucks, the trainer, like one of the trainers at the gym, and your mom, like all those people are way closer and more
And your
attainable
mom
than
is
like
wild.
Beyonce, like Scarlett Johansson and Taylor Swift,
Rihanna.
like whoever your hall pass is. Like
I don't believe in hall passes, so I think
I
they're all equally bad, to be honest.
I think of hall passes as like jokes because like I don't take them seriously
Agreed.
because
Mhm,
you're
mhm.
not actually going to do that, because if you actually do that, the relationship is over, in my opinion, because you're still cheating. But like it's like, to me, whenever I'm like, oh, Gojo is my husband, like it's a joke.
Yeah,
Gojo is not real. I can never get Gojo. So it's a whole joke.
Random. Think of it like this, right? You say it's unrealistic, but how many citrus clips and stories do we see that a woman goes to a Chris Brown concert or a Drake concert and they get very intimate with Drake or Chris Brown? We see that all the time. So
I'll
Those
say
Chris
this though.
Brown concerts have been with
yeah,
the meet and greets.
To be fair, I can't believe those meet and greets those photos are hilarious.
they're wild.
Those photos are hilarious.
Listen,
My only
everybody's trying
problem
to
is
get him to like kiss her, them, and everything else. I'm with the one girl that wanted to do a dance battle.
That would have been
I'm
done.
with her on that one. Get the dance battle out of the
that's
way.
crazy. Like, you better be nice, because it's like you better be nice, or else you're about to get worked in this dance battle. But my only thing I'm saying, okay, maybe because I don't hear too many stories of guys doing that. Like, no, Taylor Swift, or who's like Cardi B is not gonna do a photo shoot like Chris Brown does. She's not gonna do a
No.
photo shoot like that. She never will. I don't think any female artist will do something like that.
Because of safety, because men are creepy.
Well, what about Sexy Red?
And
I'm
sexy.
good. I'm not pulling up to any of her concerts.
But
She's not.
you don't think Sexy Red would
She-
do it, something like that?
Like to the exact level of Chris Brown. You know
Yeah.
how many times like dudes would be like, yeah, bend over so he looks like I'm fucking you. Like this, that's the pose that they want. She's not gonna
I
do that.
could see her doing that though.
I can see you're doing that
No,
too.
that's crazy. We're like,
I-
how many photo shoots does he go through? Does Chris Brown go through? Like 100, 200, 1,000?
He does a meet and greet at every concert.
She's not. Sexy Red's not.
I'm
She
not
wouldn't
saying
even
she
do
do it
half
at
of what
every
Chris Brown
concert,
does.
but I think that she would do it at like the major cities. So like if she went to like New York, DC, Chicago, LA, like
That's
Dallas.
crazy. That's
I
if you're
think she
that's
would do it.
crazy. That's so crazy that a dude would.
I could see
get
her
paid
and
to-
Ice Spice doing it. Actually, no, I can't see Ice Spice doing it just because there was that video a few weeks ago of her twerking on top of the bus or whatever, and she was just dissociating.
Yeah, Ice Spice. I never see her like getting like allowing people to get really close. I'll be honest.
Except for
Yeah,
Kai's on that. And then we saw that she thought Goku was Naruto.
No, I mean
Yeah.
like Tyson never really got really close or like close in contact. But Ice Spice, I'm gonna be honest, her character is twerking right now. Her character is twerking, and that's not a
Yeah.
good
my
character
question.
to have.
Why do people find Ice Spice attractive? I think she's not
she has a
attractive
really
at all.
nice ass. I like her ass. I like her body.
I'm all right.
I'm a
Ice
jack.
Spice is
Listen,
random. If you met Ice Spice, you would. So I don't know. What do you mean? I'm
Nah.
all right. What do you mean
Nah.
by that?
Nah. I
All right.
legitimately, I would be obviously I would be respectful, but there's no way. There's
Random
no way. You got
capping.
like this would be. We would leave. You guys would be mad at me. Like, well, you tell me Ice Spice wanted to fuck you. You said no. That's the conversation we would have. I'm all right.
I would be mad at you.
He's lying to me. I don't know why he's lying to me.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I wouldn't be
don't
down.
believe
Why is that so
Okay.
crazy to believe?
I don't
But
believe
like,
you.
I am gonna say if like Sexy Red came up to me, I would and be like,
Wait,
"Oh,
no.
I want to sleep with you." I'd be like, "I'm good." I don't find Sexy Red attractive.
That's what I'm saying for Ice Spice. Like now, if Megan Thee Stallion walked up to me, I would fold like fresh laundry. Where do you need me to be? I will be there.
I'd let her step on me.
I'd let her do unholy things to me.
Okay, before we continue, I'm gonna segue to the next story.
I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Tory Lanez was wrong. I'll be lying through my teeth."
This next story comes off of r/relationship advice. My 22 female fiance, I am a 25 male. Once my fiance, 25 male, wants his father to check my hymen tomorrow night before we get married.
Oh, so this is a foreign story already.
No,
This is a foreign story.
My
no.
Huh? That's a what?
No.
Hold on. Read that title again. Read that title one more time.
My fiance, 25 male, wants his father to check my hymen tomorrow night before I get married.
Check my
Wants
hymen.
his father to do it? His father.
Yes. Yes.
His father probably works in that profession, but it's still weird, bro.
This is an American story.
So we don't know where they're from, but I'm the fact that she is posting it and uncomfortable with it, I'm going that it's not a foreign thing. So, my fiance proposed to me about 8 months ago. We decided on having a relatively small wedding, which is in 2 days. Everything was going great. He seemed to be absolutely perfect, and we are very much in love. I am a virgin, and so is he. He wanted to save it for marriage, and I wasn't fussed, so I agreed to saving it. He has told me earlier that in his family, the father checks the virginity of the bride the night before the wedding. I laughed this off as it seriously sounds like a massive joke. No, turns out he was dead serious. He wants me the night before to open my legs in a small ceremony type thing so his dad can check me while him, his brothers, and uncle can watch so that they can know that I am still pure. I told him that chance I'm going to do that and he was begging me to go through with it and how important it was for him. He said he knew it was slightly embarrassing for me, but his mom did it, and it will prove how much I love him and that I have nothing to hide anyways. I am still a virgin. I felt like and then I left and he was crying. It was very dramatic, to be honest. I went to call off the whole wedding because of this and never talked to him again. But at the same time, it was the only thing. And other than that, we are genuinely perfect for each other. And I don't want to spend my life with anyone else. And it is very important to him and his family. What the frick frack do I do? I am currently at my friend's house and I might stay here for the night. Tomorrow would be our last day as an unmarried couple, and I am straight up panicking.
Unpopular opinion. She should have done it.
So I'm just
My
here to
thing
say,
is why do like 5 other people gotta watch that shit? She's
It's
like
their
the
religious
dad.
custom.
If this is like a ceremony type thing or cultural thing, look, I'm not going to sit here and talk about some other person's culture. Okay, bet. If he's in there, like the fiance, okay, bet. Why the hell does your 3 brothers and your uncle got to be there?
Because
but
that's
also,
the custom.
if I don't necessarily think this is a religious or a cultural thing, because if it was, then you would know that hymens can actually break at any point. Like they're so fragile. You can literally break your hymen from horseback riding. So if she has like played any sort of sports, done horseback running, you can literally break your hymen while running.
I don't disagree with like the biological aspect of it, but I 100% think it's a religious and cultural thing because they go about things not based off science. They go about it based off tradition. So it's like they don't really care about.
There's no way your family just came up with this. Like all of a sudden your dad's like, I'm checking
he said
everybody's.
His mother did it, and I guarantee what someone back in the day thought. It's probably was very Christian, and they came up with this custom, and then it's been passed down from generation to generation. If you knew that he was very religious and very cultural and all this stuff, and he's the perfect guy, and all you had to do this one weird thing, I mean,
I'm cool with it, but
do it.
I understand the custom, but I'll be like, can I do that with can we have this ceremony with your dad and you, and that's it? Why do your brothers and your uncle get to see how?
It's the fact that he's not respecting her wishes and like pushing it. Like
they should have had this conversation long before
even
before they got engaged.
Day before.
I agree. That should have happened way before.
Like the fact that he's like, I know this is going to be slightly embarrassing for you. I'm like, no, what? What do you mean? Like,
you want me spread eagle in front of your father to prove that I am pure, even to check that my hymen is intact. That's what they're doing. And her hymen could not be intact, but she can still be a virgin. Like that's where I'm getting at. Like they're literally checking to make sure her hymen is still intact, and like that you can break your hymen at 5 years old. Like it
Sure.
doesn't mean that like
Is there
you're
an update to the story?
Yeah, there's
there
not a scientific
There how many?
reason why they're doing it.
there is an update. So I do want to give a trigger warning for domestic violence.
Okay.
Oh man.
There is domestic violence in this update. So the update is, first of all, I want to thank you so much for all the replies. I didn't think this would get so big. I have read pretty much all of them. Special shout out to the person who says that I faked it solely on the fact that I write like a man, whatever that means. Also, for all the gold
What?
and silver, it's appreciated. Though, although if you want to spend money, give it to charity or something. I went and talked to him this morning, told him that his father is not going to look at me, and he needs to respect that. He was adamant that it needs to happen and accused me about lying about my virginity. I was trying to be calm and rational, but he was not having it and just became more and more angry. I told him if he really loved me, he would stand by me on this and tell his father no, to which he slapped me and said that he didn't need to prove anything. So I ended it with him and currently back at my friend's house being miserable and eating pizza, which is pretty much fun. So yep, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that
So I mean, what that proves to me, and the only reason why I said she should have done it is like, it seems like that this was the perfect guy or whatever. Ultimately, anybody who has like a crazy religious or traditional or cultural custom, I think are crazy, and I would stay away from in general. But they were in love and they were at this point, so she might have known something. But yeah, it's very obvious to me his tradition is more important than she is. So yeah, you gotta cut that out.
But on top of that, I'm wondering what other signs he probably showed that she's going to start thinking about beforehand, because you don't just slap someone out of nowhere. Like abuse doesn't just like, it isn't just like one day I'm just going to punch you in the face and like there's no lead up to this.
Yeah, I'm curious on more context on their relationship, because is this like the only custom, or there must be more to this guy and his family? Because
there's also the fact
that's
that,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's also the fact that he got the point that he was willing to assault her because she didn't want to do something that he really wanted to do. So what if he really wants to go to, like, let's just say he really wants to go on vacation to Japan instead, but she's like, no, we can't go. We got to do this. And is he going to haul off then too? That's crazy.
And that's why when she was talking about him, she said he was the perfect person and we were perfect together.
Mm-hmm.
So like she was okay with how he was up until then. And then this one custom, it's weird for just one custom, just like, oh yeah, we don't do anything, but this one custom is it. And then he slapped her for it, maybe, and he never. It's their whole situation is very odd. 100%.
Yeah, I listen. She's better than me, because the moment he would have laid hands on me, I would have laid hands back.
Just sling it out.
Very valid.
Sling it out.
Listen, equal rights, equal fights.
Agreed. You got to punch him back in the face.
Exactly.
Now get him in the nuts first, then the face.
True.
Or both at the same time.
If you can.
That's going to take some coordination.
For sure. Some acrobatics. 100%.
I don't have the coordination, but I know there's women out there that do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I know those flexible bitches, I guarantee you they can balance on one foot and punch somebody in the face and kick somebody in the nuts.
Oh yeah, like ballerinas or gymnasts.
Yeah, like the gymnasts and everything. I guarantee
sweet chin kicked is crazy. Like to your nuts is crazy. We good.
I guarantee you there is a woman out there that could do that.
I mean, it makes sense, yeah.
I guarantee it too. Man, all these traditions and cultures, unlike Random, I'll say it. I think anyone that are weird like this one are weird in every single situation. So the whole virgin sanctity and all that stuff, yeah, I don't really buy it.
I mean, I know people who, wanted to save their virginity till marriage, and I know people who did, and they, it was something that they felt really passionate about. But like as a person, they were fine. Like they respected other people's choices. This seems like somebody that's like, I'm not respecting anyone else's choices. It's my way or the highway, which is what I have an issue with. Like, you're allowed to have your own beliefs and your own ideologies that you want to uphold upon yourself, and to find someone with similar ideologies that you want in a partner, you have every right to. But you're not allowed to impose that on someone else. Like, if you find someone and they're like, I love that for you, that you want to be a virgin until you're married, but like, I lost my virginity 2 years ago, and you can either accept that or you can't. And you move forward from there, but don't impose like your beliefs, your religion, your culture on somebody else.
Oh no, for sure.
Mhm.
Obviously live the way you wanted to, but the only thing that I was bringing up is anytime it's determinate based off my love for you, based off this one feature, that's always going to be shaky. Yeah, it's important to your culture, but that means that love is not truly as strong as people think that it is. Like, and the whole aspect of you need to be pure. Yeah, that's shaky ground. That's always shaky ground about purity. Anytime someone brings that up in a relationship, you better look at them twice.
So, as Random's aware, we always save the best story for last.
I'll say this, Radell. Every single time I've done this, I've stopped doing something like from the last story. Like the first one was
Coconuts.
I can't even look at coconuts anymore. I can't. That person should be in jail. That person should be in jail for biological warfare. Now I can't. That Jolly Rancher story was so nasty. Like, oh, I'm not even thinking about.
So, this is off of r/IMF. And so it's basically like, I am a girl who like owns cats. Ask me anything. So this is kind of like an ask me anything Reddit. So you post something, you say I am a, and then you give a short description, and then you go into the comments and you answer people's questions. So I am sleeping with my biological brother. Ask me anything.
This is worse than the dude who had fantasies about fucking spiders.
Cockroaches.
That's right. Radell, it was one of the weirdest. It's like he kept telling people, like, bro, you take that secret with you to your grave. And then every
told his
update
parents.
was him telling the most significant people in his life. And then he's like, why does everybody not want to hang out with me anymore? It don't
And
matter.
Agatha.
I still got my cockroaches. What was the fucking name, Taylor?
Agatha.
Agatha. I was like, why do you keep telling people? He
Hey,
told
what's
people
the
at his
difference
job.
between him wanting to fuck a cockroach and furries? What's the difference?
I mean,
The difference is that this dude had like he married the cockroach. Like, this is like an ongoing thing from when he was like in middle school.
How did he
Yo,
even tell? How did he even? He
that's
started with telling
hilarious.
this girl in like
And
the
he
dumbest
couldn't
way.
like he couldn't have any sort of like sexual intercourse without it being him imagining in his head that it was Agatha, the female human cockroach.
When he
Yo, I'm
told his
dead.
girlfriend that,
Yo, I'm
I
Yes,
think
and
she
then
was
he
like,
also told his long-term girlfriend that, and
yeah,
she left him.
I
That's how
think
it started.
I'm trying to remember how like the whole conversation started, and he just kind of told her, and then she looked at him, and she's like, "Well, we're broken up now." I was like, "No shit, like, why would you
How do you
tell any woman that?"
So this story is, I am sleeping with my biological brother. Ask me anything. I'm 19. My brother is 21. We've been having sex since I was 16. Absolutely no one knows. I've never even told a friend, and I would like to keep our identities private. If our parents or family members found out, our lives would be destroyed. I also initiated it. Ask me anything.
Well, one,
Wait. So she's 19 and he's 21.
Yes, and they've been sleeping together since she was 16.
and he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy that she felt comfortable enough to go on. Hey, the internet is undefeated, man. Some people just be going on there wanting to share this stuff.
They really think people can't find them.
Oh, Random, you weren't on this episode, but I had Shar and DJ on one, and I read an IMA, and it was I am a son who had sexual intercourse with his mother. So
No, I
this
remember.
is-
I remember you reading that one. That one was.
Yep. So
How could
somebody
you look at your
asked.
mother that way?
So
Hey.
the initial comment is deleted, but it looks like they basically asked OP if they've ever almost gotten caught or anything. And OP responds with, yes, I was taking a shower. My brother came in to fool around with me. He thought that our parents had already left that morning to go to work. However, my dad came back because he left his cell. I was in the middle of going down on him and my dad knocked on the door. Considering the situation, I stayed calm and yelled, "What do you want?" He was looking for my brother. I said he couldn't, and said that he couldn't find him anywhere and that his car was parked in the driveway. I lied and said he went to John's house down the street. Luckily, our dad never went to check on him. Another time was when we were at our grandparents' house and we had to share one of those pull-out couches. We started to have sex, and my grandmother walked in the room and asked out loud if her remote to her TV was
Oh,
down.
she knew.
We just paused. We
She
just
knew.
paused and laid quietly, and she walked out of the room. She never even looked at our bed, but I guess that's because she's old and has cataracts. She couldn't see very well anyways. She must have thought we were asleep. That was pretty scary. There were other times, but they're not as interesting. It usually involved one of us quickly putting our clothes on and running into the next room.
She knew. The grandma knew. The
It's
grandma
possible
absolutely
she
knew.
didn't.
She
It's possible.
absolutely knew.
She's old, so.
So OP's responding to a bunch of different questions. So first question is, did you have sexual thoughts about him before you woke up on top of him? Not really. However, at that age, I just had crushes on boys. It wasn't really sexual for me until then. I just remember feeling him under me and he was aroused. I was really curious and started touching him. He responded. I got really turned on, and the most that I have ever been. For what matter do you have them now? Of course I do. I have sex with him quite frequently. Looks like does he get boxers at Christmas and you think about what they're going to look like on the floor? Yes and no. It's weird, but when we are around our parents, I shut that part of myself off for a while. We act completely normal around friends and relatives. We may look at each other now and then, but I don't think anyone notices.
Yeah.
How did you explain like how it all
So I'm
started
going
in
through the comments and we're getting, so they answer questions as they come. So somebody asked, did this start out as experimenting? 16 seems relatively old for such a thing. What view did you and your brother have on this about each other? Does this interfere with relationships and others? It did start out as experimenting, and I think it's mainly my fault. We had to share a bed as we had relatives staying with us for a week. I'll spare you the details, but I woke up on top of him and I started fondling him. He didn't ask me to stop, and we started fooling around since that day. It just progressed over time. What views do you and your brother have on this about each other? We both know it's really fucked up, but we both enjoy it, so we don't stop. We've only ever cared about hurting our family. Does this interfere with relationships with others? In the beginning, no. We could be having relationships with other people. However, lately he does not want me to be with anyone but him. It's become an issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what happens when you have to one of them catches feelings, or what if you go out and you meet a guy you really vibe with? Like, what if you want to date this person? Like what? Like, that's crazy. You've been doing this for 5 years.
Hey, man. I mean, it's not surprising because we know that people do this. It's weird, but we know people do this. The surprising part is she felt comfortable enough to go on the internet to have people ask her questions about it. That's
That's
the
actually
weird part.
hilarious, because the comment that I just found goes, first of all, I think it's awesome that you're in a place where you feel like you can finally admit it and even explain some details about it to us. I bet it feels great to get it out of there, even here. And they respond saying, thank you. It really does feel good to talk about this. And then they go on to say, secondly, when you say that you and your brother love each other, are you talking about the normal, family love that most siblings share? Or are you saying that you feel like you've fallen in love. In OP response, this is very difficult to explain. I do love my brother like a sister loves her brother normally. I am protective over him. I care about him and his choices, and I'm proud of him too. We also argue like siblings. However, I do feel love for him in the sense of a romantic love. It's become stronger over time, and I think that's why we started kissing as much as we have lately. It's turning into something more. I'm sorry if that doesn't make much sense. I don't really think that it does anyways. So somebody goes, are either of you in a relationship? No, not at the moment. Sometimes I want to date other guys, but I don't want to be a liar. So I haven't been in a committed relationship with someone else for a while now. My brother has dated a lot of girls, but he hasn't had a long relationship with someone either. Sadly, I'm probably the longest person he's been with. Do you kiss? Is there anything either of you won't do? Yes, we kiss. We didn't at all in the beginning, but lately he has been kissing me more and more. We would never make out, but we have been in the past couple of months. We've done everything except anal. He's never asked, and I don't want to. Do you cuddle after, sleep together, or just go back to your own beds? Yes, sort of. It's progressed over time. When we were younger, we would obviously have to go back to our own beds, but sometimes we would lay in bed and laugh and watch TV. We cuddle more now since we have time to be alone together.
The grandma, you couldn't fool me. The grandma obviously fucking knew. She knew.
The
You don't
grandma.
just fucking walk in. Where's the remote? Don't fucking look for it and you
If
walk
you're
away.
old enough, yeah. If you're old enough,
I mean, she has cataracts, so
yeah.
Why would she? She knew. She absolutely knew.
I
Absolutely.
mean, obviously we can condemn it, but I mean, they already are doing it, so it's weird. It's disgusting. Obviously, even biology says no, that's not okay. Inbreds are bad. But at this point, if I'm them, change my name and move away. I'll be
so
honest.
somebody that asked that in OP said it's not an option right now, and I'm just like, what do you mean right now?
What? Yeah. What was the thing? What was the question again?
Somebody had asked OP. Actually, let me go back and find it. So somebody goes, do you use protection? I'm on birth control and have been since I was 15. Sometimes he wears a condom, sometimes he doesn't. We're safe either way. Is it just straight up sex, or have you guys done other things like kiss and oral? We do everything except anal. How long until you change your names and move away to be together? I don't think we could do that. It's definitely not an option right now, as we're both in college and depend on our parents for financial support.
Oh man, the parents will find out. They will find out.
They're in love with each other.
Oh, for sure.
Random, turn your camera back on. I feel like you're making faces.
Random, experience the world, man. This is reality.
Oh, I think it's somebody came in to talk to him real quick.
Oh, internet. She probably heard the story and was like, "What are you listening to? What is going on right now?
Probably.
What random? Is this what you be up to? Like when
Oh
we're
my
not talking?
God.
Random about to be
Oh.
exposed."
Listen, his mom's about to whoop his butt.
Yeah. Considering she said that they've been looking at each other, they've been doing more romantic stuff. They almost got
People
caught.
know. People know.
Oh
People
yeah,
know. There's
either
no way.
there's inklings or they're eventually gonna get caught. They're gonna get careless and they're gonna get caught. That's 100% happening.
There's just so much wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because like you can't have kids.
Oh, for sure not.
Like you did.
I
So what
heard
happened,
y'all
Rand?
motherfuckers slandering me while I was answering that phone call. But go. Sorry, I'm gonna let y'all cook because I got something that
Hey, Random, they're in love with each other.
absolutely are. Well, I'll say this: the guy, her brother's definitely more in love with her than she is.
Then
I would
she
love
is,
to hear.
but
I'd love to hear his perspective. In a
I
weird way.
wouldn't. I don't.
she
in a weird way.
does say at one point. Hold on, I gotta find the comment.
Apparently
be
she
crazy.
said she does think about him romantically as well.
Yeah, that's
Taylor
why I was trying to find the comment of. She does say that she loves him romantically. Yeah, right here she goes, I do feel love for him in the sense of a romantic love. It's become stronger over time. I think that's why we started kissing as much as we have lately. It's turning into something more. I'm sorry if it doesn't make much sense. I don't really think it does anyways. So she's falling for him too, which is just, I guarantee you after they both graduate college. So this is from 14 years ago, by the way.
I would be curious on the current status quo. Honestly,
Absolutely.
I would be
Because
curious.
if they never date anybody and then they're like 30, their parents will be like, what's happening? Both of you? What's going on?
So nothing
You
has
gotta
been.
start answering those questions.
So she also writes on confessions, but there has literally been nothing posted since 14 years ago. I would love an update on this. I guarantee you we're never gonna get one because it's been 14 years. But I would love to figure this one out. 'Cause I
Man,
guarantee you
Reddit
after
just makes people
they
do
just
crazy stuff. How do you just like yeah, how do you just go on Reddit and say this is what I'm doing with my life? And you just like you think nobody's ever gonna find you or
14 years ago. That's like what? 2010.
yeah.
Yeah.
2010. I was a junior in high school.
Yeah, I was in high school as well.
I think I don't know what grade I was in. I think I was in middle school. I think I
That's
was just
crazy.
starting 6th grade,
That,
maybe 5th.
that's crazy.
Because I went into high school 2012. So actually, no, I was in 6th
You're
grade.
7th grade. You're 7th grade.
Mm-mm.
Wait, was I in high school? How old am I? No, I was in middle school too then. I was 12.
Yeah, I was a junior in high school.
Yeah, I was in middle school. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in middle school.
Yo, I'm the same age as this girl.
Random.
Well, yeah.
Random.
But I mean,
Never.
I guess the question is because obviously weird situation. I don't know. They probably got caught. Their family probably got broken up. But the question is, if you found out your two kids were fucking and they're falling in love, what would you do?
I don't even know.
How would it know either? But
I'd like to say let's spend all the money we got on therapy, but
I
that's
failed.
not
All
gonna
I know
change
is that I
anything,
failed
to be honest.
somehow. In some way, I failed.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
As a parent, I would that would be such a personal blow to me. I failed.
Yeah. Also, a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old being in the same bed, because that's how it started. They're in the same bed. Why are they sleeping in the same bed?
They had family over, but
Why would you put them in the same bed? You couldn't give them.
Yeah, why would they
You
sleep
couldn't
in the
give
same
one of
bed?
them like a sleeping bag or air mattress and let them sleep on the air mattress. What like?
Yeah.
so it's actually illegal. Fun facts. After a certain age, like if you have a son, so I think it's at the age. Hold on.
I feel like
What
their parents
age
allowed
do
them to
you
be a little bit
have
too close.
to?
I think that's what
Yeah. Say like legitimately say like, all right, y'all two, here's your bed, deuces. We're gonna
they're
go just.
16 and 18. Like what?
That's so weird.
There should be no circumstance my 16-year-old daughter and my 18-year-old son should be sleeping in the same bed or in the same room, really.
Like,
what are we doing? Yeah,
I don't know.
I failed as a parent, for sure. What I would
Oh,
do?
like, how do you even get like the idea to like touch?
I don't know. I'm an only
Why
child,
was
so
he? First of all, why was he turned on? Because
I'm an only
remember,
child. I don't know nothing about this.
she felt him and then started fondling him and went on top.
Yeah.
That's so.
Well, like in that, especially another thing is like if parents don't like contextualize sex and all that stuff, a lot of them just like grow up. And I could speak from because I learned about sex way too young, like way too young. And if you don't contextualize sex for a person, then when they grow up, they're not really going to understand the meaning behind what they're seeing, and they're not going to understand like if it's bad if they like do it. They're not going to understand like all this context of this stuff. All they're going to know is it feels good, right? So you could if the parents didn't put that into their mind, especially since they're 16, then she's going to think it's okay. So I blame parents.
Also, that's weird that you tell me that's how it started.
Yeah, she
You were
started.
just laying on top of him. That's how it started. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so it is they say that if a sibling has shared rooms, they should be given their own room by the age of 6. So 6 is like the age where they're like opposite sex should be separated. There's no law against it, but that's when they're saying it should start of
I
giving
agree.
separate rooms. But I'm just like,
I agree.
so I will tell you, Lonnie was with me when I found this story, and I asked him if he also wanted to come on today, and he flat out refused.
Because of this story?
Yes, because of this story.
Wow, we didn't get to hear the Lonnie perspective, man.
He refused to listen to it. He started zoning out and playing Weekend in his head.
You got to face the darkness that exists, Mr. Villain. Come on.
I think even villains have their limits.
I'm glad
Nah.
this story made me glad that I'm an only child.
See, look, Random, I didn't, ruin anything for you since you
but next
don't
time
have siblings.
Because one of my coworkers, he's really close with his brother. She's really close with his brother. And I'm gonna be like,
nah,
what do you
that's
mean?
gonna be the first thing that goes through your head.
How close? Like, this is important. This is important now because now I get to decide how I talk to you from now on. That's crazy.
I have you questioning things now.
Yeah, don't let one story question your entire existence.
You haven't heard the Jolly Rancher story. You wouldn't be eating Jolly Ranchers at all after that.
I probably would. I heard the coconut story.
He popped the shit in his mouth. Remember? That's right. Didn't he pop the shit in his mouth?
I'm with you. That's disgusting.
Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. Anyone who is listening, new listeners, old listeners, hi, hello. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and give us 5-star ratings on Spotify and anywhere else that you listen to us on. Thank you.